11Alive News Midday starts now.
First on Midday, people at an Atlanta apartment complex now searching for a place to stay after a weekend fire. We hear from residents as they figure out their next steps. A special meeting being held today in Fulton County following the resignation of 4 members of the Housing Authority. More on the shakeup, one official says, is coming soon. And AI could be the key to stopping traffic jams. We take a look at new technology from Google and how it could impact your drive. Hello and welcome to 11Alive Midday News. I'm Aisha Howard. It is looking like we have another wet week ahead for us with some scattered showers and storms. Let's get straight over to meteorologist Chesley McNeil for a look at your 11Alive weather impact forecast. Hi, Chesley.
How you doing, Aisha? Yeah, this is very important because of all that heavy rain we had yesterday. The ground's already saturated. It's not going to take much wind to maybe knock over some of those weak trees that are out there, folks, or even cause more flooding problems for the area. We're already starting to see some of these isolated showers begin to pop up, and now a nice little line of some thunderstorms now moving into the far northwestern counties. It's going right on up there. As you can see, one lightning strike so far just north of Calhoun. That's headed towards 75, but you can see that very heavy rain associated with that thunderstorm that's up there. That will continue to slide further off toward the east, southeast. So Lewisville clear for now. Oh, you got the clouds over you, but you'll get some of this rain probably within the next 30 to 45 minutes as that continues to push through. I do think some of this will hold together, even though some of the heavier rain will fall apart. You'll still get some of that moderate to heavy rain coming in your way. And we'll see more of this popping up as we head through the rest of the afternoon. Isolated to scattered, strong to severe thunderstorms are possible as well. Looking at temperatures heating up somewhat as the clouds begin to break. So you got some 80s out here. Duluth at 81, 80 in Marietta, 79 degrees in Atlanta. You see it right on the back doorstep of that 80-degree mark. You got it down in Thomaston at 80, 79 degrees in Gainesville, 77 over toward Athens, 75 in Covington at the current hour. Your forecast for today calls for those temperatures to be in the 80s. It's humid out there. So when you factor in our 86-degree high temperature with that humidity, it's going to feel like the low 90s out there. We will have mostly cloudy skies. Only a few slivers of sunshine will be around. So we'll hit that 86 by 4 o'clock, and we'll expect those scattered showers, thunderstorms to be around. So they'll be around at noon. They'll be around at 4, likely diminishing once we get past 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. You're looking at 81 degrees by 7 o'clock, and it really depends on where these thunderstorms develop. We're talking about very heavy rain in a short period of time. So you got heavy rain coming down, maybe about an inch, inch and a half to 2 inches per hour. Doesn't have really anywhere to go, so it starts to pile up. So flash flooding could be an issue for us, so we'll be watching out for that. If you look at our headlines, you're looking at more of those scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some will have gusty winds with them as well, along with that heavy rain. And guess what? The heat returns to the area as more kids are going back to school. We'll show you that in the 7-day outlook in just a few. Aisha, back to you.
All right, Chesley, thank you. People are still waiting to get back inside their homes after a weekend fire forced them out. It happened at the Bell Collier Village Apartments in Atlanta in West Midtown, impacting hundreds of units there. 11Alive's Molly Oak is live from the complex off Howell Mill Road Northwest this morning. Molly, how are things looking out there? This is a lot for these families.
Well, you know, there's a lot of residents out here today waiting for answers and frustrated that they say they're not getting them quick enough. But I want you to take a look behind me. This is what it looks like today. You see that burned up roof, some windows busted out, and then all that gunk inside as their people are waiting for this recovery to begin. Crews are on site this morning as recovery continues after a Saturday fire at the Bell Collier Village apartment complex off Howell Mill Road Northwest.
We are the middle apartment here.
Those who call this place home are still waiting to get inside to see if there's anything they can save.
Don't have our cars in the garage. We can't get in. Our apartment is trashed. We really got the worst damage out of everybody because we were right underneath the fire.
Yesterday, in a letter from property management, it says it's not able to allow residents to enter their homes or the parking garage as current conditions in the entire building and garage are unsafe. Bell Partners says it could possibly take several weeks before conditions on the property are safe enough for residents to go back inside.
And they're going to have engineers come and their property management. They're going to make sure that everything is safe for the residents to get back into. We would certainly hate for something to happen to somebody after we tell them it's safe to go back in.
Now, the fire department is investigating the cause.
So we do have some collapse on in some of the units from the fire damage and the water damage.
Atlanta Fire and Rescue did say a burst pipe contributed to the problems.
And that water flooded into one of the units and collapsed into another unit. So we have actually a structural collapse in a different building that is not a part of the fire itself.
You know, I mentioned that resident frustration. Initially, the property management told us all 256 units were affected by either fire or water damage. Residents have been out here all morning trying to get answers, sharing their frustrations with us. You'll see more of that coming up tonight on 11Alive, plus a sweet reunion. We just saw 2 residents get their cats back out of their apartment after a couple of days. So all of that and more coming up tonight on 11Alive. But for now, reporting live, Molly Oak, 11Alive News.
All right, Molly, thank you. If you want to read more about the fire at Bell Collier Apartments, look for this story on 11alive.com there on the homepage. Right now, a hearing is happening to figure out the future of the Fulton County Housing Authority. This is a group that 2,000 residents depend on for housing vouchers. It also has been a source of controversy and pointed questions from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. Liza Lucas is in Atlanta for us, stepping out of that meeting to let us know the latest. Liza, what are we talking about here as this board is expected to really have a big shakeup?
Good morning, Aisha. It's a little hard to hear from you because public comment is still happening as we speak. I just stepped out of that meeting, and as a reminder, the majority of the board of the Housing Authority has already accepted calls to resign. However, 2 members remain, and today commissioners will decide whether those 2 remaining members will stay or will have to go. Now, today's hearing follows allegations of misconduct and mismanagement, and a statement prior to today's hearing, Housing Authority Chair Antavius Weems criticized the plan for that special hearing, saying the board completed a 75-day turnaround plan. He also says the member accused of sexual harassment was previously removed. Now today, his supporters are the ones we've been primarily hearing from. They've been speaking in his defense, saying Weems was the one to alert federal regulators of problems. His team today also saying that they are already seeing progress made in the last 2 months.
We have began to turn things around, put people in place who can make a difference, and just a little bit more time. And I think you'll see a lot of that.
Now, in his opening remarks, Chairman Rob Pitts made the point that we're here at the special hearing today after multiple complaints and concerns were raised by members of the public, Housing Authority staff, and others. He says dating back to late last year. Now, Housing Authority staff have also been speaking up today, and they say that they are getting back in compliance when it comes to landlord payments. They also say that they have new employees ready to right the ship. So we're going to continue to watch this and monitor the meeting to see how the decisions today play out, what the commissioners decide. We'll bring that for you and more tonight on 11Alive News. Live at Fulton County Commissioners meeting, Liza Lucas, 11Alive News.
Liza, thank you. Happening today in Gwinnett County, discussions over the millage rate continue. There will be a town hall to talk about the millage rate, transportation, housing costs, and public safety there in Peachtree Corners. It starts at 6 at City Hall. It will also be streamed online if you can't make it out in person. We have an update on a Saturday night shooting involving an Atlanta police officer and a 22-year-old man. Atlanta police responded to a call about a domestic dispute. A woman told officers she had been in a physical fight with her partner, Tobias Sheely, but he had already left. An officer found Sheely, and during that encounter, Sheely allegedly started running away, pulled out a gun, and shot at the officer. The officer fired back, hitting Sheely in the arm. He was taken to Grady and is now in custody. The GBI is investigating here. Atlanta police say a bicyclist was hit and killed by a car Sunday afternoon. This happened at the intersection of Martin Street Southeast and Ormond Street. Officers say the driver did not stop at a stop sign and hit and killed a 63-year-old man. The driver did stay on the scene. No word on possible charges. 3 members of a popular gospel music group based here in Atlanta and a Georgia state official have died in a plane crash. The plane crash killed 7 people in total. According to a statement, Kelly Nelan Clark, her husband Jason, and their daughter Amber Kistler all died in that crash. Their daughter Autumn was not on the plane. The 4 of them made up the family music group The Neons. Several others on the plane also died there, including the pilot and his wife, Larry and Melissa Haney. Larry Haney was the chairman of the Georgia Department of Corrections Board. Governor Brian Kemp released a statement saying, in part, Larry had valued career and public service, and his impact on our state will not be forgotten. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating what caused that plane to crash. A city in DeKalb County wants drivers to slow down. So just last week, leaders in Avondale Estates approved $100,000 to add crosswalks, some stop signs, and other safety measures there to make drivers more aware. The series of changes will be coming to the roads along South Avondale Plaza and Kensington Road.
In response to major construction on Highway 278, we want to ensure that traffic is moving through the residential area in a responsible way.
The plans include a roundabout, crosswalk, golf cart parking, and also added stop signs. City Manager Patrick Bryan expects the changes will be installed in the next 2 months. He also says the changes won't be permanent, so the city can make adjustments based on feedback. The 2024 November election is less than 100 days away, and tomorrow Vice President Kamala Harris will be in Atlanta for a campaign event. But ahead of her visit, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear campaigned for Harris for president in Metro Atlanta. Beshear was here on the opening for Harris campaign office in Forsyth County on Sunday. Beshear is one of many candidates who is being considered as a vice presidential running mate on the potential Harris Democratic ticket. And during his visit, he emphasized his support for the VP.
Kamala Harris wants to take us into the future, wants to bring us together, wants to move every family and every person forward. She wants to cancel student debt. And if you're in that generation, that's going to be or already is a really important issue.
We are still waiting to learn more information about VP Harris's visit tomorrow, and we'll let you know as soon as we get more. Former Democratic Vice President Al Gore is now endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris. Gore revealed his endorsement on Sunday. He cited the vice president's handling of big oil companies and her support for climate change initiatives for why he's backing her. Gore lost his own presidential bid in 2000 to George W. Bush. Meanwhile, former President Trump is on the campaign trail, still attacking President Biden while also turning his focus to his likely opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, who is ranking in support and more donations as we wait to see who her running mate will be. NBC's Bree Jackson has more from Washington.
Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris ramping up their rhetoric on the campaign trail.
We have a brand new victim. And honestly, she's a radical left lunatic.
Some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
Both say they are willing to face off on the debate stage over issues like the economy and the U.S. southern border. The Trump campaign won't agree to a date until the Democratic Party officially taps its presidential nominee at the convention next month. Harris plans to unveil her running mate before then.
Whoever she picks as a running mate, I think we have the edge because President Trump's governing agenda actually worked for the American people.
Those on the VP shortlist are making their case to voters.
The vice president is the strongest messenger out there for reproductive freedom. She is a warrior.
This, my friends, this is an election about real freedom, an election with clear contrast, and an election that now falls in your hands.
I would do what is in the best interest of the country.
New battleground state polls have the Harris-Trump matchup at a dead heat, with the two tied in Michigan and Pennsylvania. Trump inside the margin of error with a 1-point lead in Wisconsin, and Harris leading Trump in Minnesota by 6 points outside the margin of error. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
President Joe Biden is calling for bold reforms to restore trust and accountability when it comes to the presidency and the United States Supreme Court. This afternoon, President Biden will endorse the proposals during a speech at the LBJ Presidential Library. He is expected to propose term limits for Supreme Court justices and an amendment to counteract the recent presidential immunity decision. The amendment would partially overturn the decision by making it clear that former presidents do not enjoy criminal immunity from federal indictments. The president will also voice support for a binding code for conduct for the justices. A massive wildfire dubbed the Park Fire is raging out of control in Northern California, becoming the 7th largest fire in the state's history. Authorities have arrested a 42-year-old man accused of sparking this massive blaze by pushing a burning car down a gully. Julia Vargas Jones is in Chico, California with more.
More than 360,000 acres of land have now been burned. That's an area larger than the city of Phoenix. And a lot of that looks like what you see behind me.
6 days on, and the park fire has turned parts of Northern California into ash, ripping right through wooded, hard-to-reach areas. This family's entire compound of 3 homes destroyed. Everything they had, they say, lost.
Team 2 en route.
These volunteers with the North Valley Animal Disaster Group search for animals left behind in the rush of evacuation.
All right, let's go find us some piggies.
The calls come from people faced with the impossible split-second decision to save themselves or their animals.
These are very social goats. Goats are very social animals.
Once rescued, they are brought to this shelter where they're cared for while families deal with grief and loss.
2 families that had lost their homes and lost everything and most of their animals. And, you know, when they're in tears, you can't help but just have tremendous empathy.
While some homes will be spared, those who have experienced the reality of a fire in recent years explain that returning to a world of wreckage comes with immense challenges.
Being a resident of Paradise, we had the campfire in 2018, evacuated from that and found out that our home actually survived. Both neighbors on each side of us, homes did not make it. We had water issues, we had smoke damage issues and that kind of stuff. So we didn't actually return until after a year.
Park fire victims could soon face the same fate.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has issued a state of emergency for counties of Butte, where we are, also Pumas and Tehama. Containment of this fire is only at 12%, but firefighters are optimistic that improving conditions over the next few days could get that number higher. Julia Vargas Jones in Chico, California.
Well, we're looking at clouds overhead, folks. In fact, here's a look at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and you can see nothing but clouds overhead. Some breaks here and there will yield a little bit of sunshine, but for the most part, it's just going to be a great day, and the rain will follow. We'll get some scattered showers. Not everyone gets wet. It's a good 50 to 60% chance for that rain to be around, and so, yeah, could be your day. If you didn't get it yesterday was pretty widespread as well. Today could be your day. We're watching, well, some thunderstorms starting to erupt right there. You can see over toward the Calhoun area right now, some very heavy rain coming down. A couple lightning strikes. I can count them on one hand, at least 4 lightning strikes associated with this cluster right here coming together. It looks like if you follow that, like a just came together right there. We'll continue to slide further off to the east, so could be impacting places like Pickens County, Cherokee County, northern parts of Cherokee County, Forsyth County if it holds together. We'll see more of it popping up as we head through the rest of the afternoon. In fact, expecting more of these thunderstorms late afternoon going into early evening. That's when they'll be around. Temperature-wise, we're in the the 70s and 80s right now, close to 80 degrees in places like Atlanta. You're like 79 degrees, 77 in Athens, 82 over in Duluth, 80 right now in Marietta, 78 degrees up towards Blairsville with the current hour. Notice not a whole lot going on throughout the southeast, but with the daytime heating, we'll see more of these thunderstorms firing up once again, dropping very heavy rain. That is our concern for today, all right? When with some of those thunderstorms, there will be some gusty winds out there. You'll notice that the Storm Prediction Center has placed this dark green shade over much of or all of North Georgia and parts of Central Georgia as well. That is a marginal threat for severe weather. What does that mean for us? Well, 1 or 2 or 3 of those thunderstorms could reach severe criteria, meaning the winds could get up to about 58 or 60 miles per hour with a few of those, along with that very heavy rain. And that is our major concern, the heavy rain. So when are we talking? Well, I've already started with the showers out there. So now, between now and 10 p.m. tonight, we could see more of those scattered showers with a few of those heavier showers embedded in some of those as well. The impact would be that heavy rain, so you have to watch out for that standing water. You get rain coming down so hard, so fast, it doesn't have a place to go, so it starts to pile back up, and you really don't know how deep that water is. So what is the need? Well, avoid rising water. If you see ponding on the roadways, if you see rushing water, you want to avoid that at all costs, folks. You don't want to go where any flooding is. That's what we talk about when we talk about flash flooding, and there could be some spots, some localized spots that will have some flash flooding, so be on the lookout for this afternoon. Our flooding potential, you can see, is from Georgia's Rome, Atlanta, all the way down into Macon, that yellow area there. Once you get outside of that over toward Athens and Augusta, goes down to a marginal risk, something we'll watch out for. The other thing we're watching out for is the tropics as well. You look at this little wave here, has about a 50% chance for development as it heads toward the Caribbean. So it's something we'll be watching over the next 7 days, not looking for development over the next 2. Our forecast track model shows those scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up in the area for this afternoon. They'll be with us at least through about 9 o'clock tonight before things begin to subside, and then we'll do it all over again for tomorrow with that temperature warming up on us. 89 degrees for the high on Tuesday, 50% chance for the rain, 40% chance by Wednesday, down to a 20% chance by Thursday. But look at the temperature, up to 95 for the high, 96 on Friday. And so, yeah, we'll get very hot and humid as we head toward the end of the week with low threats for rain continuing. Aisha?
Jesse, thank you. A new study is shedding light on how too much internet usage can affect a teenager's brain. This as the Senate takes steps toward two bipartisan bills to protect adolescents online. Brian Abel reports on the study's findings and the path forward.
Teens diagnosed with internet addiction often struggle with muddled attention spans. A new study in the journal PLOS Mental Health could explain why. Neuroimaging uncovered disrupted signals between brain regions that are important for controlling attention and working memory. The findings are similar to the ABCD study by Professor of Psychology Dr. Chandra Sripada and others, who says understanding the internet's impact on our brains is an important first step towards battling potential addiction.
If you know what the markers of vulnerability are, you can prevent an individual by intervening in the interim. You can prevent an individual from developing the full-blown addiction syndrome.
In Washington, the Senate waging its own battle, taking steps this week towards passing two bipartisan bills aimed at protecting kids online.
Predators can exploit or target kids. And for kids who struggle with mental health, social media can magnify their anguish.
One bill focuses on improving privacy. The second requires social media companies to provide better protections for minors. That includes giving guardians more control and limiting certain features like autoplay.
The technology companies have brainiacs that they've hired. That's all on one side. And on the other side, you've got a teenager. And the competition is not fair.
In Washington, I'm Brian Abel reporting.
The two men who were injured when a gunman opened fire at former President Donald Trump's campaign rally in Pennsylvania are now both out of the hospital. The two men suffered serious injuries when the suspected gunman, Thomas Crooks, fired shots during the rally. Mr. Trump was wounded in the ear, and the gunfire killed firefighter Corey Compertor. Trump has announced that he plans to hold another campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and will honor Compertor's life and those injured earlier this month. It could be a new stage in the fight against Alzheimer's. A new study says a combination of two simple blood tests can catch 90% of early dementia cases. Researchers say the findings could lead to a blood test that can be used in a primary care physician's office, much like a cholesterol test, but for Alzheimer's. This study was published in the medical journal JAMA Neurology. Now to a high-tech solution for preventing traffic jams. Google is teaming up with cities worldwide to use artificial intelligence, or AI, to stop gridlock before it even starts. NBC News' Steve Romo has the story.
Boston is notorious for bumper-to-bumper traffic, leaving Beantown drivers fed up. Boston has the fourth worst traffic in the country. Drivers here can spend, on average, nearly 90 hours a year, almost 4 days, stuck behind the wheel. The national average is more than 50 hours. Nobody likes being stuck in traffic, so the city of Boston is teaming up with Google to try to make sure their drivers hit more green lights. It's called Project Greenlight, which in part uses artificial intelligence to monitor traffic patterns and then come up with solutions to improve traffic flow. Mateus Vervluet is a product manager with Google.
You know that great feeling when you hit 2 or 3 green lights in a row? That's what we're trying to create with Greenlight.
We went to one of the intersections Project Greenlight analyzed.
What is AI actually doing to these lights? We're basically shifting a couple of seconds from one of the lights to the other one, right? And this prevents traffic from backing up.
It may not seem like much, but a few seconds can mean the difference between getting a red light or getting green lights all the way.
We're trying to create so-called green waves.
Yasha Franklin Hodge is Boston's chief of streets. He showed us the city's traffic control room.
Yeah, so this is the traffic management center.
Here, engineers monitor the city's roads. Project Greenlight makes suggestions to improve traffic flow, and the engineers then can implement those changes. Yasha says this will be a game changer.
We think Project Greenlight can be an important part of reducing delay in Boston.
But it's not just here in Boston. Project Greenlight is already live in Seattle and in 12 other cities around the world, improving efficiency and cutting down time at stoplights. This saves time for drivers and has an added benefit for air quality.
We see the potential for a reduction of up to 30% in the number of stops and 10% in emissions at affected intersections.
Hoping to put the project in the fast lane, making a positive impact on the environment and frustrated drivers. Stephen Romo, NBC News, Boston.
Well, the first day of school is almost here, so to help students get ready, the Atlanta Ronald McDonald House Charities Care-Mobile will be parked in front of the Kennesaw McDonald's on Giles Road until 2 p.m. today. The Care-Mobile will offer free pediatric services, including ear, eye, and dental screenings. Asthma care and sports physicals will also be available to make sure they are good and healthy to start the new school year. For a full list of first day of school for your child's district, head to 11alive.com or text the word school to 404-885-7600. A group of Georgia State University students are experiencing the trip of a lifetime. The students from the university's law school are currently in Paris, taking in all the sights and enjoying the Olympic Games. 11Alive's Faith Jesse caught up with them and got to talk with them about how special this opportunity is.
Hello from Paris. We are with the Georgia State University Law class. Professor Mo Ivory joining with us. You guys have had a long journey from Atlanta to Paris. You all are here rocking the team GSU. All right. How is everybody doing? How has your experience been in Paris so far?
We are doing amazing. It has been nothing short of amazing with these wonderful students exploring Paris and finding all the things that we learned in the classroom out here in this big world, experiencing the Olympics. It's just been amazing. And we are joined by one of our deans from the law school, Dean Tamika Lester, our provost, Dr. Nicole Parsons Pollard, and another professor, John Marshall, right over there. And some of us have some of our family here, but it really, really, really is all about the students. And they've been having an amazing time, right, guys? Yes. And museums, and you know, we've been looking at all the trademarks and the logos, things we learned about. We've been watching sports, we've been going to dinners, and it's just been fantastic.
Well, I want you guys take a moment to just look at where we are right now.
I know.
Take it all in.
I know.
We are in Paris, y'all. Okay, question. Who are you guys most excited to see for the Olympics? We'll start with Professor Mo.
Well, I really wanted to see Simone Biles. I didn't have tickets, but I've been watching it, and she's been doing amazing, so I'm just cheering her on all the way. But really, like, the entire experience is amazing. So it's like everybody you want to see. And we've been like bumping into people, you know, sort of celebrity watching.
Because everybody's here.
Everybody is here, and it's amazing. But I want
favorite
somebody
sports,
else.
favorite sports.
Basketball.
Women's basketball. Soccer. Women's basketball. Great dancing.
Swimming. Katie Ledecky.
There we go.
We're seeing her tomorrow.
Yes, so much excitement. You guys are seeing her tomorrow. We love it. Well, thank you all so much for joining your fam with 11Alive.
Leave out USA Track and Field. Does not want to see USA Track and Field. And we like to thank them. We like to thank them as well. They were our education partner throughout the semester, and they're throwing us a beautiful dinner tomorrow night. And so we just want to really say thank you to Max and Renee for doing that for us.
Well, thank you all so much. Max and Renee, I might be joining you for dinner too. We'll send it back to you all in the studio. GSU! 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 GSU!
Talk about collecting some memories for a lifetime. They look like they're having a ball.
And good dinners.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, host us.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, it sounds good. Glad we see everybody having a good time.
Absolutely. Rain, and more rain coming your way, folks. Take a look. The radar does show that rain and a couple thunderstorms up there to the far northwest. We talked about over toward Calhoun. Now that heavy rain is starting to head toward Lewisville, so you'll be impacted by that. More of this will pop up as we head through the afternoon. And not only for today, but for the next couple of days as well. You also notice the temperature going up. 93 degrees on Wednesday. Thursday will be up to 95, 96 by Friday. Woo. Factor in humidity with that. It's going to be approaching those triple double-digit heat index numbers this week as kids go back to school.
Okay, just in time. Hey, before we go, we want to point out some programming changes. The Olympics are preempting 11Alive News weekdays and weekends. And while the games are on TV, you can watch the latest on big local stories and weather 24/7 through our streaming app, 11Alive Plus. During the week, we're going to be on each morning from 4:30 to 7, and then we're going to stream. Catch us here at 11 and 4 p.m. Then we are back on air for you at 6 p.m. and again for 11Alive News at 11 following Olympics prime time. 11Alive News is also watching dozens of athletes from Georgia competing. Our Cheryl Preheim and Faith Jesse are in Paris to tell their stories. Their reports will be featured during our 2 Olympic specials airing Monday through Saturday. The All Access Pass at 7, followed by the Olympic Zone at 7:30. So we got you covered. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Be sure to tune in right back at 4 for the news there. Make it a great day, everybody.